Today I want to talk to you about, does this really work? This is a belt sanding belt that I got at Harbor Freight Tools. I paid $6 for 3 of them, and I got a very aggressive grit, 3-inch wide by 21-inch sanding belt, 36 grit, and I want to know, are these going to really work? I saw these and I was like, they look aggressive. Let's see how well they perform, and I'll let you know if they really work or not. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, so normally, and what I'm using this cordless belt sander by DeWalt. I've got a fresh 10 amp hour battery on it. And what I normally burn on these tools is I use a ceramic coated blade. They cost me about $8 a piece. So I spent more on this one belt than I did on these 3 belts by Bauer, okay? So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take this belt off, which is my normal tried and true, okay? And I'm just gonna grab one of these and throw it on this belt sander and see how it performs. Now, the board I have, unfortunately, is soaking wet, and it's not going to sand out too nice because it's gonna clog this belt. But you know what? Maybe that's a good test for it, just to see. I'll start by sanding out the edges really quick, and we'll see how that does. And then we'll just kind of go from there and see how well this belt performs. The one thing I do like about these ceramic belts is they can cake up, but they do clean off pretty easy as you go through. I know there's different mechanisms that you can use, these rubber cubes that I've seen in the past that will help clean your sawdust off your belts. And you know, if you cake enough dust on anything, it's gonna be difficult to clean. So just for reference, this is a Gator ceramic belt, and it's got a 36 grit. Okay, and so we're gonna put on this Bauer belt. It's not ceramic, it's premium zirconia grain. Anti-clog technology, it says, and it has a heat-resistant joint. Well, we're gonna find out, okay? So here we go. So I knocked off the edge of this board on a, I don't know, just whatever degree angle. I wouldn't say it's a 45, it's just whatever. And you can see it's caked on pretty good. And it says it's self-cleaning, so I shouldn't have to do that, but it doesn't look like it's self-cleaning too good. Could be because it's soaking wet. Let's see if we can just take the treatment off the surface of this board with this belt. I mean, it does a pretty good job of getting that treatment off, but it is caking up quite badly, in my opinion. You could go through and do a rub down on this. It is getting a little warm. I think it's gonna still cake. But after getting that done, let's just, for giggles, I got a screw that's stuck in the end of this board. Let's just sand this down and see what happens to the surface of this belt and see if it takes a lot of the grit off or if it actually sands it out really nice. Okay, it did take some of the sawdust off, which is great, but it also did take some of the grit. If I stuck it in the same line, it started to eat the grit off of there pretty quick. So obviously metal is gonna be your wear and tear point, but it did take the screw all the way down. I mean, it ripped through the head of the screw and took the screw all the way down to the board. So I gotta give it some credit that, you know, it is doing what I'm asking it to do, even though it's probably more than I would ask it to do in a standard situation. So not terrible. Let me just finish working these edges and then I'll give you my interpretation of what this belt really is, okay? So I've abused this belt pretty good. I think because of the wetness of this board, it's really caked. So that's something you're gonna have to deal with. I think you're gonna have to deal with that with almost any belt sanding belt that's available in the market. Even though it says it's self-cleaning, it's not. I don't believe that. I've never owned a belt that I felt was self-cleaning. This is caked on pretty bad, but you know, it did hold up to all that abuse. I think for the price you're gonna pay, if you're sending out dry stuff, it's probably not a bad investment. But I think for performance, you might run through 3 of these belts before you get through 1 ceramic belt. So it's kind of a wash. So if you're belt sanding stuff that's for general purpose, that doesn't really matter for finish, then I think these might be a good selection. But if you're looking for high performance, then probably not the right product for that particular application. So I would say, yeah, it really works, but I don't think you're gonna get the longevity out of these that you do out of a ceramic belt. Okay, so I put a brand new one of those belts on the belt sander. I took the old one off, and we have a nice, well, fairly dry piece of wood here on our cut hub that has aged, and I just wanna sand it a little bit and see if it's gonna clog as bad as the wet one did. I have a thought on this. I don't think it will, but let's see what happens, okay? So not so much. Just a little bit of clogging, not too bad, and it's definitely sanding it down to a new finish. So I think if you're in dry lumber, you're gonna have much better luck, especially with these rougher grits. I'm always looking for a rough grit personally when I'm sanding, because I need to take a lot of material off usually when I'm doing this. So I think maybe if you're sticking to dry lumber, could be a better option for you. I still think it's gonna clog a little more than my ceramic belts will, but you know, I think you get what you pay for, okay? I think for the price, you're only paying $2 a piece for these belts instead of 8. I think you're gonna get your value out of it for that $2. So swing by Harbor Freight. We were not sponsored by them. We went in and purchased these products on our own dime, and we're filming this as an independent. So take it for what it is, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you thought of these Bauer sanding belts. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.